Good evening, everybody. This is Jose Negron, and welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense. Good evening, Melody at night. Yes, let's get those likes coming in, please. Um, First of all, I just want to apologize with the changing um, of the schedule at the stream. It was supposed to be on at one point Wednesday, another point tomorrow, but for circumstances beyond my control, we're alive tonight. I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. So therefore, whenever I upload anything, you will be notified. Now, tonight's topic is going to be how to avoid toxic people. So we're going to be talking about that. But before I do, there is a couple of things I do need to discuss before we get into the main topic. I just recently came across in social media where Ted Cruz, who is a Republican senator from the state of Texas, was complaining regarding Big Bird getting vaccinated. Now, for some of you who may not know what Big Bird is, some of you may be millennials, but Big Bird is a character on Sesame Street. Those of us who are baby boomers, we grew up watching Sesame Street and watching Big Bird and Bert and Ernie and whatnot. So basically, it's a situation where Big Bird decides to get vaccinated. Now, you would think, considering all the stuff that's going on today, the fact of the matter is hundreds of people had perished due to COVID-19. And the fact of the matter is you have millions of people who are still out of work that instead of focusing on doing what they can to help us, particularly the people in need, they're wasting their time to argue over a fictional character getting vaccinated. Really? I mean, come on, people. They're there to serve us. And if they're not going to serve us, then what we need to do is to vote these people out of office and vote for people that will support us. The other thing that I am going to discuss is, of course, COVID-19 mandates. Unfortunately, more and more employers are mandating their personnel to get vaccinated. Just want to ask you, if you are faced with that situation, see if there is like a medical or religious exemption, because there might be medical reasons why you cannot be vaccinated. Just to let everybody know, I am currently on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope and Twitter. Now, I already dropped the link. So if anyone wishes to join into discussion, by all means do so. I see there's currently 2 people viewing the live stream right now. Now, let's discuss what are some of the signs that person may be toxic. Okay. Starting with, they disrespect your boundaries. Toxic people don't know when to quit. And what I mean by that, they don't respect your space. When you tell them in a nice way that they don't wish to engage with you, they will continue, because unfortunately, they are very self-centered. Also, people who are identified as toxic, they tend to be manipulative and controlling. In other words, they have to be the center of attention, and they have to like steer the narrative to their own personal slant. They also lie. Why do they lie? Many reasons. Some people cannot accept the truth. Some people try to distort the situation to make it like they're the victim, which leads to the next point. They're always right. No matter what is the situation, no matter if you use logic to explain to them how they're not correct or their conclusions are not correct, they have to be right. They're always right. They're always the victim. Now, what I mean by that is they'll take any situation, even though many times they're the ones that cause the situation to occur, which is usually a bad situation. They're always the victim. Why does this happen to me? Why me? Why me? Okay. They're also judgmental. They are very hard to accept the fact that maybe they reach erroneous conclusions, or they'd be judgmental because you're not looking at things through their point of view, and only their point of view matters. And they're all give and not take. So it's me, 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 me. It's me first, me second, me third. Now, right now, I see this four people viewing the stream as we speak. The link is there. I'm going to ask anyone who wishes to opine or share their point of view regarding toxic people, by all means, enter the stream. Also, anyone has to deal with toxic people, by all means, share your experiences, how you have to deal with toxic people. Okay. Now, there's certain things that's going to help you to deal with people who are toxic. One thing is avoid playing into reality. And what do I mean by that? Is that when people are toxic, they see themselves as the victim in every situation, no matter what. No matter what was the situation, no matter what was the course of events that led to the situation to begin, they're the victims. Only they matter. Anybody else does not matter. And of course, there is always the temptation to simply nod and smile in order to prevent them from getting angry. The problem with that is if you do that, they see the nod as consent, like, yes, they have a valid point. Don't get drawn in. Now, the fact of the matter is when you're dealing with toxic people, it can be very exhausting because toxic people, they love to complain. They complain about anybody. They complain about their coworkers. They complain about their spouses, their family, and what have you. They complain about their situation. And they always are the victims of unfair treatment. How you deal with that? Just simply say, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and leave that alone. Okay. Now, another thing that you need to do is to pay attention how they make you feel. Now, one thing about toxic people is that sometimes they'll say, oops, and we have someone here. Good evening, Ramon.
Hey, good evening, Don Jose. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. I mean, had a long day. Had a long day today, but I was looking forward to this. And that's the subject about the toxic people.
Correct.
Okay, when it comes to toxic, it's just that it's good that you are kind of like giving definitions about it, because that term these days, that term gets thrown around so much that when people overuse a term or a word over and over, it has a tendency to lose its meaning. And that's something that we don't want. We don't want to lose the meaning of words or a term, and actually in its proper definition. I understand that something that is kind of like vicious and insistent and all, they can be referred to as toxic, but it's one of those terms that get thrown around so much that it loses its meaning. So it's a good thing that at least you are kind of like establishing some guidelines as to what do you mean? What do you mean with when it comes
Yes.
to toxic people? And it's unfortunate. We're living in a time where we're having to deal with those types, and at least I can say that that's not so much of a problem for me, because I just don't draw them in. I just don't attract the types. I mean, I'm very laid back and a bit of an introvert, but it's just not something that I wanna deal with. Just avoid. But please, you were kind of like going through some bullet points.
Yeah.
I'll just listen. I'll just listen until you're done.
Well, first of all, good evening, Morena. It's always good to see you. I mean, even though you only come in the chats, I'm glad that you're here. No, but the thing,
Morena, come on up.
no, but this thing, one thing I like to do is when I talk about a subject, I like to define it.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, you have certain top descriptions that it loses its meaning
Right.
after a while. And basically, what I did, I'm just sharing some points that I discovered this afternoon. Now, I already gave it like a brief description. What describes a toxic person is basically someone that's very self-centered. Good evening, Sundown. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well tonight. The fact of the matter is they're very self-centered. It's me first, me second, me third, me fourth, me fifth, and then step 6 is repeat the first 5 steps.
Yeah, but that sounds like a typical narcissist. I think that everything is about them.
Well, also they feel persecuted as well.
Victim complex. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm sure, maybe not so much in your work environment, but maybe outside your work environment, you might have run across individuals. They're forever the victim. Like everybody is after them and what have you. Good evening, Terrell. How are you doing tonight? It's just that they're always, being persecuted. They're the victims. Everyone's against them. And how dare you not agreeing with me, even though I'm wrong? Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Yeah. There was a situation in well, I don't want to get too much into that, because it does have to do with my job, in which I saw that, and it was a kind of like a situation in which it was particularly with female coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something that was happening between them. It didn't have much to do with me, but it was kind of like a dynamic, something that I have seen it happen with women in the workplace, when you have women and their boss is another woman. That's something that I have observed a few times, that they have a tendency to kind of like kind of clash, kind of butt heads. And I'm not trying to make this about gender, but I don't see that happening so much with men. Thankfully, in the department that I work, we don't really have those issues, but I do hear about things that happen in other departments where there are situations where somebody can be harassed or they claim to be harassed. So I'm not 100% sure about if their claims are true or not. I just don't know. But I do hear things like that, like what you're describing.
Okay. First of all, let's welcome Terrell. Joaquin.
No,
Good
Rakim,
evening.
my dude Rakim is in the house. What's going
Hey,
on, man?
hey, both of my guys, Jose and Ramon, how you fellas been doing?
Oh, fine. We're just getting into discussion regarding how to avoid toxic people. Now, let me ask you a question, Joaquin. Do you have to deal with toxic people at your place of work or in your neighborhood?
Yes, I've dealt with toxic people for a majority of my life, unfortunately, and
Mm-hmm.
the workplace is no different. It doesn't matter where you work, and it's just like what Ramon was just saying a minute ago. Even with me, I'm a truck driver, and I've worked with numerous guys. I can remember when I first started, training to become a truck driver. You have those type of toxic people as well who they know more information than you know, and they
Mm-hmm.
use it to make themselves feel like that they're better, or that they feel like that they're above you, even if you're in a situation where you're a rookie and you're just trying to learn certain things that you may not get or you may not understand, that at one point they were at that space as well, but
Yeah. Uh-oh.
You're breaking. You broke up. If you can hear
Yeah, sure.
Rakim, it got staticky and then you broke up. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks like it looks like the mentally and intellectually challenged people after
yeah, they
uh
got him. They got him.
yeah. No,
What do you
but
call the mix? The mix.
yes, the
They
mix.
got
In
him.
fact, you know what? My next topic it's going to be on the mentally and intellectually challenged.
Right. Right.
So I'm sure that there's going to be some toes step, but you have to call out these people.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah. Well. Let's get to what do you define as the mix?
Okay. Okay. That's my term for the mentally and intellectually challenged.
Hmm?
Basically, there are people like the slow taps, the Hispano taps, the diverse taps, the state taps, all the
oh, we
every.
got so many, man.
Oh,
They keep
it's an
they
umbrella
keep
term then. The
oh
mix
yeah, they
that's kind of like an umbrella term for a lot of different groups of taps.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because if you notice that, I don't know if you noticed, but they share common characteristics. First of all, they're very opinionated. They do not accept criticism very well. They cannot assimilate other people's views. They feel persecuted if you address their shortcomings. So that's why I just call them the mentally and intellectually challenged. So it's an umbrella term.
Right. I see. I see.
And also
Uh-huh.
the fact that they're opinionated with no facts to back up their opinions. They absolutely have no facts to back up their opinions at all. A lot of the times.
That's why they should be ignored. That's why. Okay, they want to share an opinion. All right, that's fine. But let's not try to change their mind or try to persuade them to think differently. If they want to think the way they want to think, that's on them. I mean, it is not our job to convince them otherwise. I mean, we're grown-ups. We're adults. We're at least we're supposed to not be talking to children. So whatever it is that they want to think, that's on them.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you have people who are children disguised as adults.
Yeah.
And and the fact of the matter is, there's really not a lot that you can do unless they acknowledge the fact that they have shortcomings and want to do something to change it. But other than that, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So now, other things that you need to bear in mind when dealing with toxic people is when to say no and to walk away.
Yeah. It goes to what I was just saying, that you can. Okay, they have their point of view, they have their opinion. You share your opinion. If they start having a problem with it, and they start getting defensive, they start getting combative about it. That's the moment when you kind of like say, "All right, you have a good one. Bye."
Yes, or you can just do say, you know what? I'll check you later. Have a good day.
Exactly.
I mean, because really,
just leave it at that. I mean, they can stay. They believe what they want to believe. You agree to disagree. I mean, that's what adults do. But there are, like you said, there are types that they don't think like adults, and they think that they can convince other people. They think that they're right. Okay, fine. Let them think that they're right. Let's not argue with them.
Yes. This is a saying that we have, que ellos tienen razón. Okay. Oh my goodness! It's like I don't know whether it's like they're trying to stop.
Rakim about that. I have talked to Rakim about it. Like, operate your phone, man. Operate your device.
Okay, but you know what? You can. I mean, look. If you cannot.
I'm not saying with you, Rakim.
I mean, look. If you cannot get a laptop, I mean, you can get like a refurbished laptop or even a tablet.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. The problem with using a phone is that when you do a live stream, it eats a lot of battery. Let's see what's.
Yes. That's something that I noticed when I tried to connect to a StreamYard that Christina was doing. It will make my phone really hot, and it will start giving me trouble. I don't know if that ended up damaging it, because I tried to do a couple of live streams on my phone. It will make it really hot, and shortly after that, my phone, I actually had to replace it recently because it was glitching. It started glitching a lot. It started giving me issues. So it may have had something to do with that, because trying to participate in StreamYards and in live streaming on the phone is kind of like it uses a lot of data. It puts a lot of burden on the resources of the phone, and it will make it glitch eventually. It will make it give you trouble, give you problems. So that's what I ended up having to do. That I have the older phone. The older phone, it glitches a lot. It gives me a lot of trouble. I had to replace it.
Yeah.
It might have had something to do with trying to use it for StreamYards. So not anymore. I learned the lessons on that one.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I was using my mobile device whenever I got online. The problem is I have to keep it charged, because if I don't, it's going to eat up a lot of battery.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Now, also the other things that you need to do when you're dealing with toxic people, you need to put yourself first.
Yeah, it might sound kind of selfish, but for the sake of one's own well-being, it might be better to kind of like give oneself a priority. That's part of one having self-value and self-love. It has to start with the self before you have it for someone else. It might sound selfish, okay, fine, but it's not the greatest, and I keep getting kicked.
Okay.
Come on, Rakim, if you can hear this, get your upgrade done. Upgrade your shit.
Brother, I like you I like you almost as a son, but you really got to like either upgrade your phone or you got to get yourself a laptop or a tablet or something because
Because like we're just talking about, doing StreamYards on phones is not really recommended because it puts it is a bit of a burden for a phone to do StreamYards. Like we were just describing, I had this phone that I would do StreamYards on it, and it will get really hot, and it will eventually will kick me out of the StreamYard, so I'm not using it for that anymore.
Okay.
Hey, Christina.
Hey, hello, Christina. How you doing tonight? By all means, I know that you don't usually get on people's channels, but you're more than welcome to pop in and share your experiences dealing with toxic people. It's not, you can just, put your comments.
Both Morena and Christina, I know that you are a bit of the celebrity here, kind of like the bigger name, but you could still hop on the stream and give us your perspective. Morena too. You guys can give us your perspective from the female side, from the woman's side.
Yes,
that could help. That will be valuable on this stream.
Because you know what, it will help us men. Because sometimes we might have to deal with toxic women. Okay, yes. So it'll be great if either Morena or Christina would grace us with their presence, or at least enter some more comments onto the chat.
Or at least, type of a question or something, so we can interact at least in that way. Since I mean, Morena, you're busy.
Okay, I get you. I got you.
Okay, Morena is busy. She can do this.
Yeah, she's still working.
But if you type of a question or something, so kind of like, so we can keep this going, you can do that. And same for Christina, the Christina, you'll be in the celebrity.
Yes, but the fact of the matter is, people, of both sexes can be toxic. Thank you, Melanated Knight, my cyber son-in-law.
What's up, MK? What's going on?
But but the fact of the matter is, first of all, I have to deal with co-workers, and sometimes they could be toxic. What makes it worse is I'm a union rep, so then I got to deal with co-workers who are toxic and and members who are toxic as well. So it's like, and the fact of the matter is, you do have to have a certain amount of patience to deal with these individuals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the particulars about the job that you do, but if you have to interact with several different people, you have to interact with several different personalities, and it can be easy. I know that it can be easy. That's why, I mean, I would rather do the kind of job that only requires me to focus on what I'm doing and not necessarily having to interact with difficult people. But I have been there. I mean, there was this place of work that I had back when I was in Puerto Rico, and there was this woman who was she was difficult. She was difficult. She had an ego. She was stuck up. She had an attitude. I never talked to her because of that. And in the years that I worked there, I only talked to her a total of like 2 to 3 times in all the years that I worked there, because she was one of those types that it was difficult. They were difficult. She was difficult, and you encountered them you can encounter them everywhere, and it has nothing to do. It has very little to do with age, because you will think that maybe it's somebody who's very young and immature, something like that. Not necessarily. It could be somebody older too, because I have encountered difficult types that have been older, and they should have known better. These are people that could be older, middle age, and you will think that will have mellowed out, mature enough for them to be kind of like better at working with other people, interacting with other people. But no, they're difficult anyway. I mean, they have their own issues.
I'm just reading this comment. Unfortunately, the whole financial market is being toxic, and to the point where everything negative is celebrated, and anything positive looked upon as up down, or upon, or considered boring. The fact of the matter is, if you take a look at, now I'm not going to mention any stream, any particular person, but if you take a look at some streams from some, that certain individuals produces, it's very toxic.
I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say names, but you're
not. But you can see it for yourself.
Well, you know what it is. You know what it is, because if you make streams like, I'm not going to say this one. I think this, what we're talking about, can be valuable. But there might be other streams in which you are talking about something positive. They don't get traction. They don't get views. And the other streams that have to do with negativity and people going at each other and having attitudes with each other, arguing and things like that. Unfortunately, streams like that have a tendency to have more traction, more viewers, and more likes all over the place. I mean, I'm not a YouTuber at all, but somebody who is a YouTuber here can confirm what I'm saying, because that's the tendency. That's what it seems to be like. That it's because drama brings in traction for viewers and likes and the like.
That is true, but that's the reason why I made the decision that when I came up with my own channel is to keep it drama free as much as possible. Now, I understand that there are people that will be bored with my content, and you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a gun to your head and say like my content. I'm just sharing with those who will receive it my own personal experiences in life, because I'm 59 years old, and I have some experiences. So I'm sharing what little wisdom I have with those who will receive it.
Yeah.
So, and and the fact of the matter is, to each one's own. Let's see. The social media has played a big part in toxic behavior spreading rapidly, and Ramon's right saying people loving drama. Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Rakim, my dude, I strongly recommend you that you kind of like don't engage too much on social media. I mean, I don't use Twitter. I used to have a Twitter, but I just wasn't using it, so I ended up shutting it down because I just wasn't using it. Twitter is a place where a lot of drama happens and a lot of people going back and forth, also arguing and things like that. That just is not for me. You know that I only have like an Instagram and YouTube, and that's about it. Because I don't have that much time for it either. I mean, as you know, Jose, that we are rather busy people, and we don't have that much time to be sitting up on social media and lollygagging in it. We just don't have the time for it.
That is true. And basically, when it comes to my social media, the only type of content that gets posted is humorous and positive.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not going to see any drama on my social media
Yeah.
because, first of all, we don't have the time. We both have to work. We have responsibilities and whatnot. So, for the people that want to create drama, by all means, create all the drama that you want. Just make sure you don't bring the drama over here to my side of the fence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's now another thing. Oops, let's see what else is being said. Yep, that is true. There's a lot of unhappy people that spread their doctrine, so to speak. Now, the fact of the matter is, some of them can change, but the thing is, they have to want to change, which means
It's up to them. It's entirely up to them.
Exactly.
Nobody can convince them otherwise. That's why we, like we were saying earlier, we don't. It is not our job to try to change other people's minds. That's up to them. If they are adults, it's on them. That's their job. If they really genuinely want to be able to change their mentality, that's on them. Because you can mold the mind of a child, but not the mind of a grown-up.
Okay.
You have to go from there.
Now, another thing you can do, because sometimes you got to work with toxic people, is limit your time with them.
No, I limit time with people. Period. I interact with people that are acquaintances, people that I work with, and I interact more with people that I'm close to, of course, family, close friends that I don't have many of. Those are the people that I give them more time. But aside from that, it's like time is valuable, and I really don't have time to entertain people that I'm not close to. So I'm already doing that, Jose.
Okay, so am I. Another thing we need to do is to set boundaries. Okay.
I already tell people when it comes to boundaries. I already told people. I mean, if you haven't called me, if you need to talk to me, if you haven't called me by 10 p.m., call me the next day, because you have the whole day to call me for whatever it is that you needed. If it's past 10 p.m., don't call me up, because I could be, maybe I'm not in bed, but I just don't want to be disturbed. I just don't want anybody calling up.
Okay. Good evening, Denise. I hope you're okay. By all means, if you wish to join the stream. If not, I understand, because yes, I agree.
Yeah, Rakim, you know what I'm talking about. Chica, vienes para acá. Dale al link.
The link is there. Okay, the link is there. Let me just put it up again.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's up in
okay,
in the chat.
I'm just going to put it in there again. Okay. Because unfortunately, when you have a lot of comments, sometimes it disappears.
Estoy bien, chica. ¿Cómo está la cosa? Debe de ser más temprano donde tú estás.
But something, what's been a bit of a challenge is trying to do these things at an appropriate time, because the fact of the matter is, I do have to take into account that for the people that's like in the West Coast, like in the Central Time Zone and things of that nature. So I'm just trying to find a good time to do my streams. So I'm kind of experimenting with the 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Espérate, ¿te vacunaste otra vez? ¿Te vacunaste otra vez fue? Y te está dando, ok, parece que se vacunó. Yeah. It seems like she got another dose
Yeah,
of
she got
the vaccine.
she got the second dose today.
Okay, okay, you're having the secondary effects. Qué jodienda. But what is it? What is it? Your job, chica? Your job mandated that to you? It just happened that today, earlier. I see. Veo. Yeah. Just today, it just so happens that Christina put up a video about possibly her having to get a vaccine, and she doesn't want to do that. That is being deliberating because already kind of like the Fifth Circuit Court put kind of like a stop to the mandate. Now it's like a semi-mandate, but it has kind of like an option when an employee will have to take a vaccine, or they will have to go through routine tests, making sure that they don't have anything for businesses that have over 100 people. When it comes to employees, over 100 employees. So I don't. So maybe that's your situation, Denise.
Well, actually, I've been speaking with Christina about that, privately. So I'm just trying to give her, give her some advice there, because the fact of the matter is, here in New York, there's a mandate that all middle school employees being vaccinated.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and the fact of the matter is, just changing the topic a little bit, this crisis has been politicized since the beginning. And it's a shame because at a time where we should support each other and, try to help each other out with this crisis, it's like we're more divided than ever. I mean, you have those who've been vaccinated shaming those who choose not to get vaccinated. And then you have those who have not been vaccinated shaming those who choose to get vaccinated.
Well, I mean, I don't do either or. I did took one dose, but that was after I had a meeting with the vice president at my job because I didn't want to get it. But the vice president where I work at, he's a good guy. He's a cool dude, and he was there when he was at a lower position when I started at my job. Mm-hmm. So, and I had a pretty good relationship with the guys. That's why I felt comfortable. Now that he's been promoted, I felt comfortable going to him and asking him for a meeting. And I asked him about it and trying to get some advice as to what to do because I didn't know. And I had a trip coming up, and that was back in my trip was at the end of July, but a few weeks before that, I already had the trip planned, and I knew that it would be better that I had something that I had done, that I had gotten something for it. And I asked him, and he told me he recommended that I took the Janssen vaccine. I didn't want it to. It's the one that is only one dose, so that's all I got. But I held out in doing that for over a year because I just didn't want it to. I understand that sentiment about not getting the vaccine, and I didn't want it to, but I ended up relenting on it because I had a trip coming up. So, yeah.
Well, I actually got the first dose way back in February, and then the second dose for a few weeks later. In my case, it was my decision. I don't know why this feedback. Maybe see if I can lower the volume.
Yeah, well, I know that I had the other tab muted, so I don't think it's me.
Okay, so I'm just trying to.
Let me pause this.
Okay. But the fact that, but as I was saying, I chose it because first of all, I had certain health conditions that will have a negative impact should I become infected with COVID. So that was a decision that I made.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so that's the reason why I chose. And then let's see what's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, Denise.
Well, the wealthy are the ones that have been paying him for how many decades? How many decades has he been in government? How many decades has he been in office already? Of course, they're the ones that pay him. They're the ones that have been lining up his pockets for all these decades. But sorry, Jose, you were saying?
Yeah. Actually, Denise, as far as you getting the booster, you may not need the booster. If you have sufficient antibodies between the vaccination and being infected with COVID not once but twice. What I would suggest that you discuss that with your primary care physician. I don't blame you. I don't blame you about not wanting to get the booster, particularly with the side effects you've been experiencing. I can understand that.
The thing is that I understand, Chica. I understand that you already had all of the symptoms. You actually had it really bad, so you should have some antibodies for it by now.
Actually, I think she does have a lot of antibodies. The fact that she's been infected twice, and then now she's fully vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, to be perfectly honest, okay, what's about that?
Okay.
Okay. Well, okay. First of all, daughter, I don't consider you fat. You just expanded a little bit.
No, you're not fat. You just grew sideways a little bit. So
Nah, you just have more to love, because Denise, we love her.
Okay. Yes, we do.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, now, believe it or not, there are people that can be allergic to at least one of the vaccines.
There are many people that have had severe reactions. I understand that there are people that have even died because of it.
That's true. That's true. I've been more fortunate. Let's see what. Okay. Yes, you're not, Denise. You're not fat. You're just expanding a little bit. That's all.
No.
Okay. And besides, Melanie Knight loves you for what you are, and that's what counts.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that he wouldn't change anything.
No. But getting back to what I was discussing, it is true. People had died by the side effects of the vaccine, and this is something that I try to explain that to my co-workers, and they look at me like I had 3 heads. And let's see.
Oh, so you're actually having a fever then? You're really wow.
Oh my goodness. You might want to drink some hot tea. Maybe you can get Melanie Knight to make you some nice chicken soup or something. To try to, at least if nothing else, and make you feel better.
Take a cold shower. If you're actually having that fever, take a cold shower. I had a girlfriend who was a nurse, and when I was with her, I caught a fever, and that's what she immediately did. I mean, she will put me under the shower all cold. I hated it, but it did help me a little bit. Now, what you got is something more severe when it comes to the condition, but being able to cool you down, that's important. It's
Yeah.
important to kind of like bring down your core temperature.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they explained to her that if there's any severe, side effects, by all means, go to the ER.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know because a lot of people go to the ER for this and they don't come out alive. So I don't know. I don't know if I would want Dennis to go to the ER.
I don't blame you. Uh,
Yeah. You might want to try the shower. It helped me. That on that occasion that I had a fever, and my girlfriend would put me on under the cold shower and it did help. It did help. I hated it, but it did help.
Now, Denise, if you was in New York, what you could do is turn on the AC and then open up the windows to try to bring down the coolness.
Well, if it had been like snowing, then it will it would have been helpful on this instance, on this situation. But aside from that, come on, Jose, you know that we hate the cold. We're not cold people.
Actually, I'm the complete opposite. I love the cold.
Well, you were born in it. That's what it is. You were born in a place where where it gets cold.
Well, it's all relative. I mean, what's cold for some people, it's cool for others. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
If you want, Denise, I'll say a prayer for you before I go to bed tonight. Because because she is my cyber daughter, so you can.
Why would she say that?
Because, you know what it is? No, I think she's saying that to the idea of going to New York and turning on the AC. But think of it this way: it will cool you down.
No, not like that. Not like that. do the shower. Do the shower. You're gonna hate it. It's gonna feel really uncomfortable, but it might help because if you're cold with the heater on, then you need to bring down your cold temperature.
No, anytime, Denise, anytime. We got, we all part of one big family. We gotta look after each other. And what's this? The cold.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it was 60s. It was like 62, 63 degrees here in New York. So that's not cold. That's summertime.
No, I wouldn't say summertime, but I guess it's manageable. It's manageable. You don't have to wear your thick jacket or something.
Wow. I mean, but let's go. Okay, but let's go back to the topic.
Yeah.
Another thing you need to do when you're dealing with toxic people is try to make yourself unavailable as much as you can.
Oh yeah. I get certain messages from people, and I'm like, I just see the message and I leave it at that, and I don't even read it, so the other person doesn't know that I actually read the message. I mean, I have done it, but these days I don't. That's not so much of a worry. I mean, I'm not socializing like that like I used to. Oh, that's fine.
Excuse me, winter. I got news for you, Denise. It's 43 days until the first day of winter. But technically, we're still in fall. I'm sorry. I just love the Denise regarding the climate.
Yeah.
But other things you can do is try to keep yourself calm, because the fact of the matter is toxic people will try to push your last nerve.
Only if you let them. Only if you let them, because I have been around people that might try to push buttons and trying to get on one's last nerve. Those are not hard to spot from a distance, so you can avoid them. And that will be what I would recommend anyone. Anybody that is known for being into pushing buttons, trying to get on somebody's last nerve, like nah. Avoid them. Avoid them. It's not that hard.
Okay, let's see what Denise had to say. When dealing with toxic people, you have to first realize that they don't respect boundaries. So if you put it in their place and they cross them, run fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Avoid them. Avoid them like the plague, because
Yes,
they are a plague.
Yes. Avoid them like you avoid a slow tap.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, by definition, they're slow, so it's not that hard.
Yes. Of course, another thing we need to do is, be calm. We don't need to get personal with them. Just let them know that when they're entering into their space, and the fact of the matter is, they're not being respectful of boundaries. But the fact of the matter is, we do deal with them, whether it be at work, whether it be in school, or even, gosh, God forbid, church. I mean, sometimes some church people can be extremely toxic.
Well, I'm not a church person. I only went to church when I was a kid because I was taken there. So I'm not religious. I don't have a problem with people that do want to be religious and go to church and all of that. That's fine. That's fine. I don't criticize that. I don't talk down on people that do that. It's just that at the same time, there are people that use kind of religion as a means to hide behind it and judge others, thinking that they can speak on God's authority and they can pass judgment on some other people's. No, I don't interact with those types, because one thing is believing in religion and that's a personal thing, but using religion as a means to be judgmental towards others, and that's something I don't agree with.
Let's see what else is being said. They are spread evenly, so you can find Indians everywhere. Well, you know what? That's true. That is very true. And all I can say is, bless their hearts.
Whatever. Let them be. Doesn't matter.
So, so you're fortunate that you don't have to deal with toxic people. Okay, we got to bring in. Good evening, Terrell.
Hey, how everybody doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing fine, thank
Doing
you.
all right. Doing okay.
I see the topic is toxic people, and y'all right, toxic people everywhere, hard to afford them. Toxic is everywhere, and they want to bring negativity. That why you gotta bring nothing but positive around you. And when you do the positivity, you usually keep them away, because usually negative toxic people want to be around other toxic people. That's their environment. It's just in schools, workplace, at home, friends, the family. So nothing new. Some people just got nothing but toxic in their lives and nothing productive. They need to get out more and experience things that are positive.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is they have to acknowledge that they have a problem, and that could be a big struggle for them, because toxic people tend to think of themselves more highly than what they are. They tend to think of themselves as near perfect, and that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well,
Yeah.
basically, the definition of a narcissist. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like another term for that. I mean, because if you look at the definition of a narcissist, that would be just almost exactly what you're describing.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they see themselves as being more important than what they really are. That's part of the definition of a narcissist.
Yeah, I agree. And I try to limit my contact with them as much as I can because if you let them, they'll try to ruin your day.
No. Only if you let them. Only if you let them, like I mentioned before.
Yeah. So, Terrell, what else would you like to share regarding this topic?
Well, usually toxic people don't have a life, and they, like you said, they think very highly of themselves. They don't think they can do no wrong. They narcissistic. They think they better than everybody, and they wanna have the first and last say on everything. And then when you criticize them, disagree, or argue with them, they wanna fight, argue, go back and forth, and call you names.
Okay, let's see.
They usually have drama with them and everything. They just got issues that they can't cope with. Well, some of them need psychology, therapy, and talk to psychologists because some of them actually need help in real life, and they don't know how to get it.
Yeah.
First of all, if there's any comment that I missed missed to share, I do apologize. Now, Denise is saying they smear, they twist the truth, they move the goalposts, and then they try to intimidate people. Yeah, that's true. Because when you're dealing with them with facts, they're trying to change the narrative.
Oh yeah, they like to change the subject and stories and make it
Yeah.
all about them.
Yeah. Well, that whole thing about avoiding those types is not so much of a problem these days. Maybe because this pandemic has kind of forced a lot of people to stay home more, so we're not around large groups of people like that anymore,
No.
and it becomes less of a problem to to avoid them. And also because somebody like myself who is not on social media like that, so I don't live my life through social media. There are people that, because of they are of a certain age, that try to have a whole social life through Twitter or Instagram. I don't know anything about that. I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't have like a social life like that via the smartphone.
Okay, well, and here we get a comment. Mostly we got to identify that any sign that gives prey energy to others and change. That's the best way to avoid toxic people. Yeah. Point well taken.
Yeah.
Now, I do, like I said before, I do use social media, but it's more of a constructive purpose. Like I'll like share I try to share a positive message through my social media just to try to encourage people because the fact of the matter is since the beginning of the pandemic, I mean people has dealt with loss of employment, loss of friends and loved ones. People have been infected by COVID-19. So they've been through a great many trials and tribulations. So if I can post a positive message, maybe it will bring hope to a person's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do not believe in posting anything negative. I mean, we got enough negativity to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that people will do to draw attention to themselves because when it comes to things that have to do with conflict, as we already said that when it has to do with drama, many people are drawn to it because it helps kind of stir up their emotions, getting an emotional reaction out of it, and that attracts people. I mean, it's kind of like part of human nature. That whole thing that it can be very inviting conflict. Maybe that's why so many people love boxing matches and mixed martial arts fights. We love that shit.
No,
It's
well,
part of
some
human nature.
some people do. Now, actually, this Saturday night, I actually spent an evening in the theater.
Oh. You're
So,
sophisticated. You're sophisticated like that. All
well,
right.
okay,
Good
well,
for
you know
you.
what? I'm not going to put down people who are into boxing and things like that because that's their form of
Mhm.
recreation. That's fine for them. It's just that I actually got free tickets to see a romantic comedy.
Ah, nothing wrong with that. You took a lady friend with you? Trying to get in your
Well,
place.
yeah. Okay, actually, let me just say this. Guys are heading out to Kashan. Yes. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you're able to express your viewpoints. I'll be looking forward to your next stream. So please take care and take care of Melody Night, my future, my toxic, my cyber son-in-law.
Bueno,
But
chica, ve, échate agua por encima, cómete una sopita de pollo y te acuestas.
yeah.
Cuídate, man.
Yes. Actually, the name of the play is called Checklist. And what it is a situation when you have an African American male who falls in love with a Dominican lady.
Mhm.
Wow.
And you see, the problem is he's from a family, the lady's from a family. She's the only daughter that's not been married. So the family is putting a lot of pressure on her to get married, and she has like a checklist, certain thing. Yes,
Oh, I see.
yeah, darling. That the man has to be. One of the things that she didn't want in a dude is that if the dude had a child from another relationship. Now, unfortunately, what this guy does, he hides the fact that he has a son.
Mhm.
And then what happened was eventually the lady found out and she confronted him regarding it. And eventually he had to confess that he had a son. And then she got upset. However, they were able to reconcile and they got married.
Well, it worked out okay in the end. It's just that I can understand her having that requirement if she doesn't have any kids herself. I can understand that requirement, but it will depend. It will depend because there are women that have a kid or kids, but they still require the man not to have kids of his own. And no, they don't get to request that.
Well, the fact of the matter is, and then after I finish saying my piece, I'm going to let Terrell do opine. The fact of the matter is, you can have a wish list of what you're looking for as a spouse.
Mhm.
But problem is, if your spouse to be is missing one element, I mean, that doesn't mean that you put that person aside. I mean, you have to take
Right, but who
yeah,
are the ones? Uh-huh.
I mean, the heart loves who the heart loves. Okay, and if I was a person that had a child, I don't have any children.
Mhm. Mhm.
The fact of the matter is, if I pursue somebody and her issue is that she doesn't want a man with a child, then you have to decide, you're going to let that thing, hold that against me because I have a child with someone else. I mean, it's not like I'm with the person anymore. It's just that I'm not going to deny my son or my child
Mhm.
just to try to win a woman's heart.
Mhm. But you mentioned something about a checklist. When it comes to this checklist, who are the ones that usually have the checklist of requirements in a significant other? It's not us guys. Us
That's
guys,
true.
we're not the one with the checklist. Our requirements when it comes to women are usually very few and very simple. I mean, women are the ones that usually have the checklist.
Yes. So let's
The-
bring Terrell. Let's see what Terrell has to say about the topic.
Well, what I have to say is, usually toxic people get into it with anybody and everybody, and they usually have some kind of interpersonal issues with themselves, where they're uncomfortable and it's something they don't like about themselves, but they can't figure it out, and they usually take out their anger on everybody. And
Okay.
yep.
Terrell, what do you think about women that let's just see what Mona has to say. There's always a checklist, Ramon. Well, you know,
Exactly.
you know what, Morena? I'm not gonna say yes, no, whatever. Everyone's entitled to their point of view. Um, but
No, I mean, it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that that there is such a thing, but like, okay, something that I have come to understand is that usually the younger the women, the more extensive the checklist is. Usually, when they get older, sometimes there are certain items on the checklist that can be like, okay, this isn't so important. But we know that you have a list. You have the list of requirements.
and and the fact of the matter is, you know, if you're going to like not pursue a person because that person does not fill every checklist and would have every item in the checklist,
They're gonna end up alone.
you might be missing out on a great person. Let's see what else. Okay, it says we will be living with someone exclusively, and then the next thing is my list is realistic.
So Morena, you have your list.
Well, you know what? That's perfectly fine, Moana. I'm not going to shame you if you have a checklist.
No. Nobody's shaming. Nobody's shaming. But I
Okay,
mean,
and then she says,
at least you're honest. At least you're being honest.
you know what?
about it.
You know what? I got to give a shout out for Moana. I mean, she's being honest. And that's the
That's what
best
I'm
thing you
saying.
can do. If you know in your heart of hearts that you have a checklist, that's fine. All I got to say is, if you approach a dude, and let's say the dude fills out 95% of that checklist, that means you're going to pass it up because of that 5%, and let's see what she has to say.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
what I was saying. When women get older, the checklist, there are certain things that get deleted because they are relatively minor and they are not deal breakers. And that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, look, I don't have like a checklist per se, but I mean, she does have to be somewhat educated. We do have to have some similar values and whatnot, and somewhat of a similar approach to life. And let's see what. Okay, no, not really. It's like a tangible standard per se. Okay,
That's fine.
and see, educated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Well, you wanna be with somebody that you do have things in common with, that you can actually hold a conversation with. I mean, you don't wanna be somebody who is dumb as a sack of rocks. I get that part.
And of course, clean. Okay. I want to see what else. Maybe kids or no kids. Okay. Well, at least At least Morena is being honest. I mean, she's not
Yeah, no,
from,
that's good. That's good.
and you have to respect her for that.
Yeah, she's very honest.
No, that's good, and that's a good thing. I mean, that's actually welcome because we're living in this. Well, that's not necessarily only today, but guys, you guys here know that the women are not necessarily great at communicating what is actually in their minds. I mean, they say something but mean something entirely, something else entirely.
Now she says that some people can be so boring, be able to hold a conversation. Okay, well, and then she says, "I'm honest, not malicious." Well, it's good to hear that. Now, I'm kind of curious. What's your definition of boring?
Yeah,
because people might consider me boring.
yeah, people call me boring too, so don't feel bad.
You know what? As long as I'm happy with me and God is happy with me, that's what counts.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm boring, but I am an introvert. I mean, I'm not somebody who is talkative. There are people that are talkers. I'm just not one of them, and I might seem to be too quiet. And some people will see being quiet and introvert as being boring, but being introvert doesn't mean that I don't have anything to say. It doesn't mean that I don't have my own opinion on things. It doesn't mean that I don't have my own point of view.
Okay, now Morena says, no, that I can actually hold a conversation. Well, that's true. And then she says, I'm not boring. Well, thank you.
That's good. All right.
Okay, and then she says,
no, you can have it. Okay, that's an oxymoron, chica.
you know what?
You're either one
You know
or
what?
the other.
You know what? It's her opinion, and I'm going to respect that.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. I wish you would join us, but you know what? It's okay.
No, she can. She can.
But you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to take a gun and say, join me, join in. Okay. Let's see what she else. Okay.
Yeah, she can come. She's on every other panel, so I don't see why not.
No, she can't. I understand that she's busy, so she can't.
But she is busy. We do got to bear that in mind. So maybe. Okay, let's see what she has to say. Really, there are times I do not want to socialize.
That's everyone. That's
yeah, that's everyone, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, there's a time that we want to be alone and not deal with the outside world and the craziness that's going on. It's understandable. I mean, to be perfectly honest, not many people come to my place. I mean, the only people that actually come to my place has been family. And let's see what she has to say. Then there are times when I want to socialize and party, and I just want to be with company. You know what? That's a very valid point. You know what, Morena? You've been making a lot of points tonight. I gotta shout you. I gotta give you a shout out for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is a time and a place for everything. You can do all of those things at the respecting times and places.
Okay. And then she says, "I am a loner at heart." You're not
alone there. You're not alone.
You know what, Morena? With all due respect, I don't see it that way. And then she says, "You're what? Thank you, Jose. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome." But with all due respect, if you think yourself as a loner, that's fine. But that's not the vibe I'm getting with you. Maybe because I don't know you very well. But it's okay. At least you're honest. And then she says, "Yes, but I am. I'm not and it's not a bad thing." You're correct. You're correct. I can't argue with that. It's just that sometimes there's a people that have like this need, they gotta be among other people. And then, there's a time and a place to be with others, and there's a time and place to be with your freaking self.
Yeah. Yep. Sure thing.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to wrap up. First of all, I just want to thank everybody in the chat for all the interaction. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that now I have 30 subscribers. Okay, so my channel is, I appreciate the fact that there are people who actually like my content. I do try to keep it, I try to keep it positive. I try to keep it drama free. And I just want to let everybody know I appreciate it with the bottom of my heart, all the people who have supported me, supported my channel, who have become my subscribers, who are, participate in the streams. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have final thoughts, and let's see what she said. Yes, well, thank you, Morena. I know that you're working. Just make sure that you get home safe because there's a lot of crazy people out there.
Yep. Don't work too hard, Morena.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take final words. So I'm going to start with my fellow bodyguard, Ramon. What is your final words regarding the topic?
Very simple. I mean, first of all, of course, I appreciate you letting me on your panel. I know that I have missed it before a couple of times because I have been entangled on something else. Yeah, but I appreciate you letting me on your panel tonight. And when it comes to the subject, it's actually pretty simple. I think we went over there very clearly. Like, toxic people or people that are needing need attention. They need the attention on themselves. I think that we can be in agreement that toxic people can be rather narcissistic.
Yes.
They share many of the same traits, and they need the attention to be on them. They see themselves as possibly the center of the universe and stuff like that. So the best way to deal with them is not dealing with them. Identifying, spot them, identify them, and avoid them. Because they can be like energy vampires. They can really drain you of your life force. They can be very damaging. It's called toxic for a reason. Something that is toxic can damage you. They can hurt you. So somebody who is like that, no, you don't want that. You don't want that. You spot them, identify them, and then stay clear of them. I do strongly believe that that's just like the only way to deal with them. I mean, for one's own sake, for one's own sanity, because sometimes one might think that they can be helped, and nobody can be helped unless they want to. I mean, we can see them even with people that are homeless. There are people that are homeless because they actually want to. They have this drive. Maybe it's kind of like a character flaw, a major character flaw that they have. They don't want to be kind of like productive members of society, and they would rather be homeless. And there are people that are, or maybe they would rather be in the situation that they are because they are supporting a bias, and there are people that don't want to recognize that they're sick, that they have a problem. And as long as they don't recognize that they have a problem, there is nothing that anybody can do for them. And it's like you have to let them be. Whatever happens with them is what happens with them, because they had their chance. They had their chance. People tried to help them, and they just didn't want to do it. They did not want to admit that they had a problem. Somebody that don't want to admit that they have a problem, there is not much that you can do for them. So don't let them drain you, your life force, your life energy, because there are toxic people can be vampires and energy vampires, and don't let them drain you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ramon, for your final words. I'm going to put you in the background, so please don't go away.
Mhm.
Okay, oops. So, Terrell, final thoughts.
Well, I say finally I get to be on your live stream, and it's good. And thank you for having me on there. And it's a good show. Hopefully your show. Congrats on 30 subscriber. Hopefully your channel be up to 1,000 in no time. But I enjoy being on here. And just with toxic people, should stay away from and be around positive people. Gonna be toxic people everywhere and forever in life. So we just got distance from her and keep the positive to us, because you don't want to go down with them being negative, because usually people who toxic have a negative opinion about life itself. So but I enjoy being on here.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Terrell, for joining the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the background, but please don't go away. And now I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the subject. The fact of the matter is we do deal with toxic people. They're everywhere. The best thing you can do, if you cannot avoid them, is to limit your contact with your time with them, and just realize where they're coming from. Try to remain calm. Don't let them take you out of your space, and just deal with the fact that for them, they're the first priority, second priority, third priority, fourth priority, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to, again, I thank everybody for being on the stream. I thank everybody for being in the chat. Now, my next topic is going to be, who are the mentally and intellectually challenged? So we're going to get into a discussion. That's my umbrella term for all the slow taps. So we're going to get into the discussion about that topic. That being said, I'm just going to close the same way I always close. People, please be careful out there, because we're still dealing with COVID-19, which has killed over 750,000 people so far in this country. And do what you can to avoid contact with the mentally, intellectually challenged, or otherwise known as all the slow taps, who else you'll be infected by their stupidity and mass insanity. That being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. I'm just going to wish everybody a good night and peace.